It's like super close and it's like at a weird angle, but hello. Congratulations to everyone who got accepted as a semi-finalist. I'm so proud of you guys. And especially shout out to those who let me edit their essays and trusted me enough to do that, even though I told you guys I was a bad writer. And those who reached out to me and told me that they ended up getting in, so I was so happy to hear that. I was super proud and it was really cute. So I just wanted to make a follow-up because a lot of people were asking me interview questions and I thought I should just make a video on it because it's really like it's easier. And yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm not allowed to disclose any questions. Like I just think that's kind of unfair. But I'll try to give as much tips and advice as I can, and I'll go through my own experience so you guys can kind of see how or what it'll be like. So yeah, just a disclaimer, a lot of people like asked me like if I was Korean or if I spoke Korean beforehand, and no, I'm not Korean. I'm actually Vietnamese and part Chinese, and I didn't speak any Korean before I started the program. So hey. So in my experience, I got my semi-finalist notification, my first one, because I went through the interview twice. First one, I got my notification on December 2nd that I was accepted as a semi-finalist, and my interview was scheduled to be on Saturday, January 23rd, 2016. That time, I wore a long sleeved gray dress with flats and like a little bag. I have a picture actually. I like took pictures just in case I made it the first time and I wanted to make an interview video. Didn't work out the first time, but I'm using it now. So first time I wore this, and I had 2 interviews my first time. The first interviewer was the lady that was emailing me, so like I kind of knew her, and then the second one was like her too. They were both like older women. The second time I got my notification on December 1st, and my interview was on Saturday, January 21st, 2017. So the second time, I was actually on my way to Kiwan's, that's like the club I was in. It was a Kiwan's training conference, so I was wearing my my district board polo with black pants and like my Mary Janes. But it wasn't like that formal, but I needed to be there like right after. So yeah, I'll attach pictures if it helps. So yeah, so I had 3 interviewers. The third time, I believe it was only supposed to be 2, but then the person who was waiting out front or was waiting at the table also ended up joining them as well. He's someone who also studied abroad, but he didn't ask as many questions. I think he only asked like 2, 3. But yeah, he was really nice. They were like, all my interviewers were like super nice. My finalist notification, the first time, it came April 1st, 2016, and the second time came March 30th, 2017. With the actual interview, I went to a place. I know some people do, I think, Skype calls if they don't have a place near them, but I believe they should. So there's a place in Tustin that runs the OC area. So I went to that place. It was only like a 15-minute drive, so it wasn't that far for me. I know a lot of people have to go like a lot farther to get to a place closer to them. And I just, yeah. My parents drove me the first time, and then I drove there myself the second time. I know some people like to bring both their parents because their parents are allowed to ask questions as well. If like your parents have concern about safety, like they can also like vouch for the program. So yeah, if your parents are really concerned over that, they should go and talk to them. The first time, I think I was a little, like I got really comfortable. I know like halfway through the interviewer, because a lot of like alumni will say that as a conversation, like no one will believe it and like try to prepare, like over prepare, but it really is a conversation. Like they really want to make you feel comfortable, and I got so comfortable, like I was slouching, and like halfway through my interview I noticed that like I was like this, and I was like, oh no, like I have to and I don't know, the first time I think I was a little more shy and reserved on like my answers. Like I would just answer them and just leave it at that, like I wouldn't elaborate. The second time, like I knew the interview lady because I had the same lady twice, and she was like, can you tell me your extracurriculars? I remember from last year, but I just know that you did a lot. So yeah, I really liked her, and she's super nice, and yeah, she made me feel really comfortable, and I like elaborated on all my answers. And yeah, so both times I feel like the questions aren't too hard. Like I think you just have to know like why you want to do NSLI, which should be good for you, and list all your activities, why you're doing them, and yeah. overall, it's just like a conversation, and that you shouldn't worry too much. Like, don't over prepare and everything. Like, I know you want to prepare for the questions and all, but like, just don't be too afraid of like, don't go in intimidated and like hold back on elaborating and acting like you really want it. Because I know people are afraid to hide their, like, to be too enthusiastic and seem like, like I'm too obsessed. But also don't like conceal your enthusiasm and like sound like, hello, I'm here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, just, yeah, no. My interview was I feel like it's very lighthearted, and they talked about topics that I really enjoyed. Like, a lot of my extracurriculars involve around community. So they asked a lot of community-based questions. So like, they're like, oh, like, we know you're really into like community, like the community and like forming community, and like they would ask me like, I don't know, just questions where I would back it up, like with the whole community thing. I don't know, like, it'd be like, oh, with your friends and like stuff like that. I don't know how to explain it, but they make you feel really comfortable, and they, like, the interviewers want you to succeed. Like, they're not trying to like pull any tricks or anything, so don't be too afraid. I didn't have a questionnaire or anything. I know a lot of people did, and like the interviewers just asked them to elaborate on that, but for me, I didn't have a questionnaire at all, and it was just like, I just went in and I started talking. Yeah, that was basically my experience. The interview was about 30 minutes, I think. Yeah, so just like questions I haven't answered through talking about my experience, I'll answer them now. Can you share what you believe changed you from a semi-finalist to a finalist the second versus the third time applying? What do you think you did differently? Was your application stronger in your opinion? Was your interview stronger? Both. Thanks in advance. I think I matured a lot through my experience. I definitely gained some experiences that I did talk about in my essays. I feel like just getting used to writing essays, because I wrote a lot of essays during this time for college and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I reread my essays. My third one's definitely the strongest one. My interview, I'm not sure if it was better, but because I knew the interviewer the second time, and like we kind of had like that previous like interaction before, it kind of made me feel more at ease. It made me feel more comfortable answering the questions, and like some of the questions were the same as last year's, and I knew how to prepare. And yeah, I think I just elaborated my answers a lot more, which helped a lot. So elaborate answers. Don't just like, they don't feel like if they ask you to say like a strength that you have, don't just be like, oh, this is the strength. Like, be like, this is the strength because, and explain why. Always answer the why question. What was the hardest question to answer during your interview? I think the hardest ones were like the situational types. The questions are like if this happened, what would you do? And there's no wrong answers to it, I don't think. I think it's just like, okay, I guess there is wrong answers, but like, just use common sense and think about why you're there in the first place, and just be respectful of cultures. And yeah, just keep in mind like what NSLI is about, and that's how you should answer the situational questions if you get some. I know some people didn't get any, so. Did they ask you about your application answers during the interview? My interviewer told me that they didn't have my application at all, so I had to like explain what was on my application. So I had to like tell them everything. Like, they asked me about my GPA, my extracurriculars, my job. Yeah, like they asked me everything that was on my application basically. They even asked me like what duration and what language I was choosing. Like, they didn't know that either. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. They didn't know like what I was doing, so yeah. They don't read your application, I guess. But maybe some do? I'm not sure, but mine personally told me that NSY didn't let them read it, so someone double check me on that. Okay, so this isn't about an interview, but it's just, this isn't an interview question, but it's just the NSLI question. So it's, what is your favorite memory that you have with NSLI? I have a lot, but one of my favorites is we went on a field trip to, I believe, we went to places Andong and Yonghwa. I think this one was at Yonghwa, I'm not sure. But we lived in like this hotel-ish area, and then we all went into one room and we were like, we made ramen and like we ate snacks, and then like we just played like Five Fingers and like hot seat and stuff, and it was really fun because we got to know each other and it was like super nice, and I felt so close to them. And like another one is just always a highlight for me to talk about when I talk about Korea is finding the 1099 or 10,900 won Korean barbecue all you can eat place in Insadong, I believe. And I have a blog post about it, so if you want to read about it, go to my blog. I put, like, when I was there, I wanted to remember the place, so I like put down my location, so now I have the exact coordinates so I can go back when I'm back in Korea. So I'm super excited. And then another like non-NSLI interview question, which country do you want to visit? Aside from Korea again, I really want to visit either like Japan or Taiwan. I know it's very difficult to visit Japan, but gotta do it. Japan and yeah, and Taiwan because night markets and like food, and it's gonna be really good. So maybe one day, I hope. Do you still keep in touch with your host family? Yes, I do actually. We actually messaged pretty frequently. They recently messaged me about the California fires, or the one that happened in like Southern California, and they were like, oh, be safe and stuff like that, and they checked up on me on that. It's really cute. And then the most recent one is they just messaged me to say Merry Christmas. So that's so cute. I love my host family, and they told me to visit them again when I'm back in Korea, so hopefully that's really, really soon. Just general interview tips. Dress to impress if you can. I know I didn't follow my own word on that because I just really needed to get to my training conference, but dress semi-formal. For guys, button up, slacks, pants, button up, slacks, shoes, like dress shoes, yeah. So it's like a little more formal. That's what the other guy who was at the interview with me was wearing. For girls, like blouse, pants, like blouse, skirt, blouse, pants, dress, shoes. I don't think you have to dress like super formal. Like maybe like guys wearing like a full suit is kind of like an overkill. I mean, it's not gonna hurt you if you dress up too much, but yeah, you don't have to. No, just be smart. Wear what you always wear to an interview, like if you know what that is. Just dress nice and it'll be fine. You don't have to worry too much about your apparel, I don't think. Just look clean and presentable. Be the best version of yourself. I know a lot of people are gonna just tell you to be yourself, stuff like that. I'll be honest. Be yourself, but try to get out of your comfort zone as well. If you're a little more shy, try not to be so shy at the interview. Like, don't change who you are, don't change your answers, don't lie about your answers because interviewers are gonna sniff that right out. But it's hard for you to be shy and then like be able to express yourself completely, and like even if you like have all these ideas and you're so excited about NSLI and you know why you want it and you're shy and you can't answer those questions, like you might not get the chance to express yourself. So before you walk in, hype yourself up, get ready, be prepared, just pour it all out, like pour it. Be ready to talk a lot, I guess is what I'm saying. Be ready to, don't just keep the excitement that you have for NSLI like inside. Like try to show that as much as you can. I'm not gonna say like be like overly excited and obsessed, but show that you're excited. Like they want to see that and they want that in a person. And find like your balance between like joking with them but also showing that you're serious about it as well. Second one is have a solid answer for why you want NSLI. I know that like you're gonna be writing you wrote essays about NSLI and you know why you want to do NSLI, or you think you know why. But when you go into the interview and they ask you why, you're gonna be drawing a blank, or at least that's how it was for me. Like I knew why I wanted to do it, I just like I felt like I couldn't word it so that my reasons had justice. Like, I feel like it's one of the most important questions. Yeah, I didn't think about it because I felt like I knew why I wanted to do NSLI. But I mean, I think I would work on like wording that better for me, because I just had like all these thoughts like why I wanted to do it, and I felt like all of them were jumbling up, and I was like, oh, I wanted to, oh, because of this, oh, awesome, like so like just try to formulate your thoughts on that and be able to get the really good answer in the end. Or if your interviewer was like mine and they're really cool, you'll probably be able to ask questions like in between your questions as well, so like it'll feel more like a conversation. So just be prepared for questions to ask your interviewers, either about NSLI or about their own study abroad experience. I know a lot of interviewers did their own, like they had their own experiences studying abroad, so I feel like it'd be really cool kind of to learn about why they're interviewing you, or like why they're doing this, or they're volunteering. It's kind of cool. It's just gonna be a conversation, and they're gonna want to know more about you, so know more about them. Show that you're interested in the program by asking questions like, oh, what about this and what about that? I know I always draw blanks when people always tell me to think of questions, but in the end when they're like, do you have any questions? I'm like, I'm good, thank you. So I wish I thought of more questions. I think the only question I asked was like, oh, like, do you know when finalist notifications come out? Like, I knew when finalist notifications came out, but I just couldn't think of a question. It's really fun to hear about like their stories and like why they did NSLI, because the second time I did end up asking them about their abroad experience, and it was pretty cool. So learn about your interviewers too. I know some people like to do thank you cards. I was suggesting a thank you email. If you guys don't do that, yeah. It's not a way to kiss butt or anything. It's just being grateful that the volunteers, like, it's because some of them are volunteers. Some of them are part of the people who run the interview, but the volunteers put in a lot of time, or even the people who do, like, who conduct it, they put in a lot of time to carry out the interviews. So just show that you're grateful. And yeah, I feel like that's it for interviews. If you have any more questions, you can DM me at I'm not dating on Instagram, or you can just drop anonymous questions on my ask. I always put like links in the bio. I've always wanted to say that. But yeah, I hope that helped. I wish you all the best of luck, and I know you guys are gonna do great, and you guys are gonna freaking pass your do well in your interviews. Be proud of how far you've come, and I know you guys are gonna do so much more. So yee. Even if you didn't make it in, I'm so proud of you, because that was me for 2 years. So